Hello YouTube and welcome back to another video. This is going to be a video response to Richard Turner's 10 questions and also my first video response for 2014. Very rarely do I do video responses, but it really is a time issue. But been off for the past couple of days and still got another day or two off work, and the wife's at work and obviously my daughter's at school and the cats are out and about doing their stuff. So I've got the house to myself, so I figured why not give it a go. And unfortunately Richard didn't write down the questions, so rather than writing down the questions myself, I thought I'd try something a little different, so I'm hoping you won't mind, Richard. So without waffling on anymore, onwards with the question. Oh, by the way, I know I do need a haircut, but it is a bit messy. But I am old school, very hippie-like, so there you go. On with the questions.
First one which I come up with, which game have you enjoyed the most to complete?
Okay, so the game that I enjoyed the most to complete would have to be PC Kid, otherwise known as Bonk in the US, for the PC Engine, TurboGrafx 16. Really loved that game immensely, completed so many times, but I'd have to favour this one, and that is PC Kid 2. Because it's bigger and better. Fantastic game, still play it today. Completed so many times, even more than the original. There is a third one. I've played it on emulation a few times. Yet to own that in my collection because it does fetch a fair bit on eBay. Hopefully, going to rectify that this year. At one point, it was the PC Engine's mascot, but since it's been ported over to the Super Nintendo, GameCube, and also got a sort of a remake update on the GameCube and the PlayStation 2. But since then, he's disappeared. But still enjoy playing this one today. So yeah, PC Kid 2.
You are reading that one.
Which is the most annoying game case?
So the most annoying case is not a difficult one to answer really. In fact, Seg would have to claim first and second prize for that one, and that's with the Euro cases for the Saturn and the Dreamcast. And I know that the Saturn, some games did come on the hard plastic casing, but the majority of them came on the in those nasty cardboard boxes, and of course eventually they would fall apart, and really awful design, and also the sizes of them. What was the idea with the size of the casing? I actually don't have any Sega Saturn, official Sega Saturn games, because I'm mainly sticking with the Japanese games, but I do have a Dreamcast one, Spider-Man of course, and as you can see with the casing, they fall apart quite easily, they break apart. And also the back, and of course the inside tray itself, the teeth that holds the disc, would break very easily too. And of course in most cases the game itself would end up getting scratched because of that while it's in the case moving about. I've got no issues at all with the casing itself, because I think it's a great design. It's just the hinges themselves that should have made them stronger, which is a real shame, 'cause honestly I don't have any issues with the design of the case itself. But obviously the end result didn't come out very well, and of course this is the mesh that you get especially for Dreamcast collectors. Really hard to look after them. As much as you try, to eventually end up breaking. So yeah, it would have to be the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast for the most annoying cases.
Number 3, favourite handheld. I don't know if that's been done or not. I just guessed that one.
My favourite handheld, that would have to be definitely the PSP. A great machine for emulation, and occasionally I do play the odd backup game, but it's purely for emulation. And of course I can play all those other handheld consoles on just the one device. But honestly, these days, and I admit it, I tend to use my Android phone. Simple fact, because it's as great as the PSP is for emulation, there are some games that either work or don't run properly, and I don't have any issues with that. And the simple fact that I'm just I can do everything on the one device without having to carry two devices with me all the time. So it's either the PSP or the Android phone. And also honourable mention to the 3DS, perfect handheld, without a doubt, fantastic games on there. So yeah, those are my that was my favourite handheld and an honourable mention. So there you go.
Question 4. You read it out, Johnny.
Question 4. Sonic or Tails?
Sonic or Tails?
Sonic or Tails? Most definitely Tails, purely because I love foxes. Been in contact with them in the past, petted, fed, and because they are difficult animals to approach. Once they build up the trust on you, they're gorgeous creatures. And our cat Amy, she's a Turkish fan, but she's got this big fluffy tail that sort of reminds you of a fox, and we even call her sometimes the foxy lady. So yeah, and mostly because of course Tails got two tails and you can fly. Another thing, I prefer orange over blue. So yeah, definitely Tails.
Question 5. What was the first game you ever played?
The first game that I ever played, now this is going way back to 1979 when we got the Atari 2600. Came with two games, Space Invaders and Combat. And being a sci-fi nut that I was back then and still am today, and Battlestar Galactica being my favourite show at the time, Space Invaders was the first game that I slotted into the Atari 2600. So yeah, Space Invaders.
Johnny, you read that out. Question 6.
What is your favourite game music?
Favourite game music, guys, and that's tough.
Favourite game music? Not a difficult one to answer, personally myself, because it's also my favourite RPG of all time. Over Final Fantasy, Phantasy Star, Shining Force, Zelda, you name it. I just love this game, love the series. Still play the first one today. Fantastic game, and first played it back in the day on the Master System. Loved it. Sadly, I did sell it on though because obviously to fund other games. But I'm hoping to eventually get another copy soon because it does go for a fair bit on eBay for a complete mint copy. A couple of years later, it was ported over to the PC Engine CD. Obviously, the graphics was amazing, but I was blown away by the music, and to this day, it is my favourite music of all time, and game music. And without waffling on anymore, that is Wise. I've always pronounced it Wise, although some people do pronounce it Yeast. Go figure. But yeah, I do love the soundtrack. Still listen to it today. Got it on my MP3 player. I'm also loving the music to the new one coming out soon. Hopefully at the end of this month in Europe, or if not early next month, and that is Memories of Celceta or Calcutta. Again, however you want to pronounce it. Loving the music to that, but I always go back to listening to the original. Fantastic soundtrack. Love it. Of course, as you can see, this is the actual PC Engine version. So yeah, without a doubt, favourite game music.
Now this will annoy everybody. This is Johnny come up with this one. I can't do this bloody game. It winds me up. Highest score on Flappy Bird. Now, bloody hell, Johnny. Come on.
Oh, well.
So what is your highest score on Flappy Bird?
Okay, so the seventh question is your highest score on Flappy Birds. I've got my tablet here, and to prove you guys, I'll show you my highest score. I was actually just playing it not too long ago, trying to beat my high score. Very addictive game, and from what I understand, the developer has actually taken the game down from Google Play and iTunes because it's so addicting. But I'll show you my high score. Just turn it on. My high score is everyone's favourite position, 69. So there you go. That is my high score on Flappy Birds. It's a great little game, pastime, very addicting. But there you go, he's taking it down. Whether that was the real reason because it was too addicting, I don't know. But there you go. High score on Flappy Birds.
So right, question 8. Here you are, Johnny.
What's your favourite game of all time?
Favourite game of all time, guys.
Favourite game of all time? Again, not a difficult question to answer because I still play it today on my Android phone. Be it commuting to work, at a cafe, passing the time, waiting for my wife to finish work or daughter to finish school. And that is, without a doubt, Manic Miner for the MSX. Fantastic game. I just never tired playing this. Great memories. Loads of fun memories, and yeah, that's my favourite game of all time. It was one of the first games that I got for the MSX back in the day. Also got it with Hunchback, but I played this one more. And so yeah, my favourite game of all time. Honourable mention must go to Space Harrier, the arcade game. Again, that's probably one of my favourite arcade games of all time. Love that game. Used to play it a lot back in the day at Sheerness, Isla Sheppey, at an amusement fair by the coast. Loved that game so much. So I was so excited when it was ported over to the home computers. A friend of mine had a ZX Spectrum back then, and of course I didn't have one, but still didn't stop me from spending my paper round money getting the Spectrum version, borrowing the machine off him, and playing the hell out of it, and thoroughly enjoy it. It's a great conversion of the arcade game. But these days I play it on my Sega Saturn, or recently the 3D version on the 3DS, which is a really good port of the arcade game. So, favourite game, Manic Miner. Honourable mention, Space Harrier.
Question 9. If you could remake a game today on the new generation, what would it be? Again, that's a tough one.
So a game that I would remake or have remade on the current generations, be it the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, or the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360, because in a way they are still sort of current. And it's an old Mega Drive game, shoot 'em up, my favourite type of games, and my favourite all-time shoot 'em up, and that is Gyari's. Fantastic shoot 'em up. It's sort of, well, it's a bit of everything really. You've got R-Type, Nemesis, Darius, you name it. It's all in there, one game. Fantastic game. And you see awesome cover there, as always, by Japanese. Sadly never got a Euro release, but it did get a US release, but the cover was really naff. Very orangey, and although I do like orange, as I mentioned earlier on, but awful artwork. There you go. I'll show you some screenshots of the game at the back. For those who don't know the game, excellent game. It would be great to see this on the current generation. Fantastic game. Gyari's.
Right, Johnny. Rachel's question, your lady friend.
Yeah. My girlfriend came up with this one, and she said Mario or Luigi.
I know what Woodlin would say on this one.
And the final question, Mario or Luigi? And I'm going to have to go with Woodlin 37 on this one, and it's going to be Luigi for me, simply because he's an awesome character. He's a great all-rounder in these new Super Mario Bros. Games. He obviously can get to places that Mario can't, having the higher jump. He's got his own game, as hard as it is. It's a fantastic game. In the Mario Kart games, I tend to pick Luigi more. Don't know why, just prefer it. And also, although I've never played the Luigi Mansion on the GameCube, the new one, Luigi Mansion 2 on the 3DS, awesome game, fantastic, and the 3D really works well in that game. And of course, there'll be no Mario and Luigi RPG if it wasn't for Luigi himself. Gonna get tongue twisted with all these Luigis, and it's a great series, fantastic game. Certainly plays a big part in the series, and I've only just stopped playing it briefly just because of the new Zelda game. So yeah, Luigi it is for me, and of course being an eco-friendly sort of guy, I do prefer the green over the red. And Woodlin 37 is named his cat Luigi, so being a cat lover, it's all good there. So Luigi it is, and that wraps up the 10 questions for Richard Turner's 10 question video response. So I hope you've enjoyed this video, and until the next time, bye for now, and take care.
Come on. Come on. Come on.
Amy.
Come on. Come on, Amy. Come Come on, go. I'm trying to get a jump. Good girl. Come on.
Linda.
Hello.